We have a new epidemic now, which is the sedentary epidemic. It's like we're spending way too long in chairs, looking at technology. You could use the word God as an acronym for grand organized design. The way in which this philosophy works is that when you are in alignment, you are more connected to Source or to God because, you're actually aligned with the messages, the signals, and you don't receive clear communication from brain to the body when your spine is in defense posture, like a boxer. I knew I wanted to die because I was slowly dying. I actually was homeless for 3 weeks. I lived in my car. I reached out to certain friends after a while, and some of them were actually scared to have me over. But relationships are supposed to be messy, and it's in the mishaps that we find out more about ourselves and learn more about the person. It's not supposed to have perfection in how everything happens. When I started researching the book #InstaLovers, I went undercover for 4 years. What I realized was it was some deep trauma. And that trauma came about because
Hi guys, welcome to Open Up. Today's guest is beautiful Andi Lew, who is an Australian wellness expert, TV host, and producer based in Los Angeles, where she lives on an extraordinary talent visa. She's a best-selling author of 10 books. This is the most recent one, right?
it's the one you just got onto,
The one I
yeah.
just got. Oh, I'm so excited. Oh, wow. And then we're going to share the rest. So many amazing books on health, dating, nutrition, and natural parenting. And she's also a certified wellness, lifestyle, and dating coach. She ran her own wellness clinic for 13 years and has spent 3 decades on TV, radio, and live stage. You may have seen her on CBS LA, KTLA, The Today Show, The Good Day New York, etc. She hosts the Well-to-Do podcast, and her whole thing is helping people find love and live well, starting with the relationship they have with themselves. 10 books, certifications, TV credits. Oh my gosh, girlie. What can't you do? I'm telling you. What do people come to you for most?
Thank you so much for that introduction. I feel exhausted though you reading it because I've done so much in my life. Anyone who's listening to that thinks, oh my gosh, what is she, 75?
You're so accomplished. I lived so many lives.
I'm
That's
53
impressive.
now, and I have non-stopped kind of just kept going in that area of expertise, I guess you called it the extraordinary talent visa, and that is in the area of unscripted television hosting and wellness and lifestyle expert. And it's just been like, I guess, me at like a bullet train, just researching everything that comes around and finding out what can serve the world, in terms of relationships and healthy living. What can't I do? Maths.
You can do
Maps.
Me and you both, we can hang.
And kill spiders. I could never do that.
Oh, God. Well, first of all, she's 53, guys.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, what's the freaking secret? It's impossible. I can't wrap my head around how you look and the fact that you said you're 53.
I mean, Catalina, I came from LA, so I've been living in LA, been watching your work. Open Up is about opening up. So you want me to open up about being 53. This is really interesting because a lot of people do think that I'm 15 years younger when they meet me, and it feels weird saying that myself. I kind of feel like embarrassed, but I actually gain a lot more respect when people go, oh, I would have thought you were like 45 or, something else. And when they realize that I've actually lived life longer than them, or, I might have some more wisdom, I think their minds start to go, okay, I might actually listen to you now. You may have actually brought some more wisdom to the world than what I realized. So, yeah, I think that the ageless or becoming ageless was coined as a result of me just feeling so much younger and more vitalistic than what my actual age says I am. And, is it 53 or is it 35 forever? Because I really do feel 35. I really do feel, much more vitalistic than most 53-year-olds. So what I'm going to say is what I teach works. And yes, indeed.
Visibly.
Indeed. And I don't ascribe to injectables. I don't ascribe to any sort of, I guess, inflammatory drivers, Botox, breast implants, and things that people do to themselves, in the Hollywood world, if you like.
Wow.
Yeah, because it's not about what's going on the outside. It's what's going on the inside that allows us to have more vitality and, I guess, behave in a way with better function. And when our bodies are functioning better, that's when our cells are singing, and that's when we have that appearance of agelessness. So if I may say, I've never seen an unattractive person that's smiling. It's impossible. So becoming at peace and also learning how to forgive can help you. That's the foundation. Making peace with the past, forgiving others actually is the gift for yourself. Yeah. But I must say that the book that you have, Connected, does dive into chiropractic philosophy. And that chiropractic philosophy is about how chiropractors actually work with the nervous system. And the nervous system is the master controller of every system. As we know, people are starting to talk about, the nervous system, it's a buzzword. But that's actually what doctors of chiropractic do. They remove the nervous system interference, and then that allows our body to communicate without any distorted signals. And then you can look at the works of people like Dr. Bruce Lipton, who have talked about epigenetics and chiropractic. I was on stage with him at the New Zealand College of Chiropractic, where we both spoke, I think, 20 years ago. They employed him when he discovered that epigenetics was as a result of changing signals from brain to body through food, through thoughts, and through chiropractic. And I've been having chiropractic care weekly, fortnightly for, I think, maybe 29 years.
Can you mention which company, which spa or chiropractor you're using? Is there any specific one?
There's different strokes for different folks. There's so many different chiropractic techniques, and it's probably one of the most misunderstood professions in the world. Most people think it's just for headaches and back pain and it's just got a lot of professional jealousy. So some people in other professions like to kind of put it down. But when you understand the true roots of chiropractic philosophy and how it began to actually remove the nervous system interference, there was Daniel David Palmer, D.D. Palmer. He was studying the relationship of the nervous system, and there was a janitor that was working for him, and he was working under a wagon, and the story goes that, something popped in his neck or something, and his hearing was gone. And so he asked D.D. Palmer to check his nervous system and spine, and then shortly after the adjustment, the janitor, Harvey Lillard's hearing came back. So that's how the profession of chiropractic began, about restoring function and communication to the body so that the body can then heal itself. It was never really about back pain and neck pain, right? It wasn't about headaches. But somehow the profession was so misunderstood that they wanted to bring about research. So they did a lot of research to prove the theory of chiropractic, and then they proved it, it can be so effective for headaches and back pain. But what I've found is that it really became effective in making my immune system stronger, because the nervous system controls the immune system. It makes the digestive system work better. So I actually lost about 10 kilos. I was much heavier than I am now. Yeah, and I started looking younger. So
what is the technique? What do they need to do for you to feel all these things?
So because there's so many different types of techniques, there's probably over 100 different techniques that chiropractors do. You can have anything from really gentle touch techniques. It would be the same pressure as if you had to put a contact lens on your eyeball.
Wow.
But it's specific, it's scientific, and it's extremely effective because the location and then the correction is the intention. That's what's important. It's not a random manipulation of joints. And then other, more manual techniques are like when people hear any pops or cracks or anything, but it's actually not bones touching. It's gas bubbles in between that you may be hearing. And sometimes it just sounds super loud, but it's not. Those gas bubbles are releasing tension, just like if you were going to open up a can of soda, but it's impossible for bones to touch. And so it's important that, and I talk about this in the book, that you're finding a chiropractor that's actually registered with the board, that does ongoing, studies to stay up to date with different techniques and research, and also to make sure that that technique or that person actually resonates with you. So, there might be a drop table or an activator or, as I said, the touch techniques. But some people want heavy-handed techniques, or they feel like it didn't do anything. But at least there's different chiropractors for different people. It's funny what's out there in the internet. I think I've been to that many different wellness places and chiropractic clinics, because I do seek out a different chiropractor in every city, every country that I travel. The first thing I do when I get off a plane is I go and see a chiropractor.
I know you did that. That's
It's the
crazy.
best. It's my hack for beating jet lag and just carrying on. And, if you're sitting in a plane for how many hours, that's really bad. I mean, we have a new epidemic now, which is the sedentary epidemic. It's like we're spending way too long in chairs, looking at technology. We all know about tech neck. And so, it's really important to, I guess, if you're being sedentary in a car or a plane or whatever, then go and negate some of those effects by having your spine checked.
My gosh. Is it true that it also helps with the alignment, which is the divine coming through? And it's a little more spiritual than just...
It can be, actually. Okay. So there's a chapter in my book about chiropractic and...
Chapter 3.
Yeah, chapter 3. It's, and we talk about when did God leave the building? Like when did that not even fit into the equation? Because God is in everything that we do, and if you are not religious or spiritual, you could use the word God as an acronym for grand organized design. And that grand organized design is that there's something greater than us running us. So whether you believe in God or the universe, whatever you want to call it, there's still something much bigger than us that's running us. Now, we know that because we have an innate intelligence, and that universal intelligence is running our innate intelligence. And so what's happening is that innate intelligence is telling our heart to beat. It's telling our cells every second to keep creating. We're getting new cells every second of every day. Yeah. We're getting new stomach linings every 6 weeks or so. Everything's renewing and regenerating. And how is that happening?
Yeah.
Through the innate intelligence. What's running that? God or grand organized design or the universal intelligence. So the way in which this philosophy works is that when you are in alignment, you are more connected to source or to God because, you're actually aligned with the messages, the signals, and you don't receive clear communication from brain to the body when your spine is in defense posture, like a boxer or somebody who's having an argument. And what they do? Put their necks forward like this as they scream, close off their heart, yeah? And so you don't see depressed or anxious people walking around with beautiful posture connected to source or God. The first thing we do is close off our heart and go into fight or flight. Now there's less blood in the brain and it's all in the extremities. And in that adrenal response with excess cortisol moving around our body, we want to run away. We want to wrestle the lion to the ground. That's what I guess our hormones are designed to do. But when we're in that state, we're not in alignment. Wow. So when we bring it back to breath, open our heart, change our posture, that physiology changes our chemistry, and the chemistry also changes our emotional status. So being aligned, being well adjusted can actually help you not only age better, think clearer, because it's the way we perceive the world is through our nervous system. The way we adapt to stress is through our nervous system, and how we coordinate every single bodily function is through the nervous system.
Dang. I didn't know that. And I've always kind of, even though I do have a chiropractor I trust, but he only does the crack of the neck. And I've always been scared because what if somehow that's the bad day and he just cracks it a little too hard and now my neck's...
Well, first of all, that's one of the myths and misconceptions, right?
Okay.
So, I think we're being programmed with too many like Jackie Chan movies or something like that. Because, as I said, it's not dangerous. But the thing is, and there were some studies about over-the-counter anti-inflammatories that most people take all day, every day, and that was like 200 times more unsafe than actually a chiropractic adjustment. I forget that research, but it was really profound because we don't think about the drugs that we would take every single day. They're chemicals. But what we would need to do is make sure that the chiropractor that you go to does have a thorough examination and initial consultation, and that they're using objective measures of care as well, like whether that's a low-dose X-ray or whether that's an EMG scan, electromyography, posture tests, taking a history, all of those things. So there's a section in my book, How to Find a Good Chiropractor.
Oh, very cool.
There's good and bad in every profession,
It's
like it's not a reflection of the profession, it's just a reflection of where that person's at in their life.
Mm-hmm. And one last question on this chiropractor topic. Oh, because you mentioned it helps with the balance. Is that
the alignment?
The alignment is also helping you be in balance. Is this something that might What exactly? So, is it just for your mental health, or does it do anything else to the?
Yeah, well, how it actually changes our emotional status is, for example, let's look at children. This is really dangerous. They're now being given iPads and they're addicted to their iPhones. And, you see babies in prams holding them. What's happening is all the soft tissues are now forming in that area in a rounded spine position. And we do it too. So we're overusing technology or driving cars and we're like this. This is quite dangerous because now the nerves in that thoracic area or the middle of the back are now distorted. And the muscles are starting to form forward, right, in that tense position. You see the humpbacks that are starting to occur in the Western world. And so the distorted signals going to the heart, the lungs, the diaphragm area mean that we're probably taking shorter breaths. And that can cause anxiety or a sort of an unhealthy perception of the world or yourself. So it's very possible that you're changing your chemistry and your emotional status physiologically. That's what I mean by that structure changes, therefore your emotional status changes. But when you open it up, all the organs start working so much better in the way that they're designed to. So that's a perfect example. For me, in my case, I had a lot of vertebral subluxation and nervous system interference in the pelvis as well. I was a dancer. And I used to try and stretch out the leg thinking that sciatica could go away, but it was the sciatic nerve and it just got worse and worse and worse. I would have to write off days. And so I discovered chiropractic when I got adjustments that helped the sciatica, it realigned the pelvis, and the same nerve that goes down to the leg also branches off to the digestive system. So that's when I started losing weight. So within 3 to 6 months, I lost about 10 kilograms. Oof. Yeah, not even changing my lifestyle or my diet. In fact, I probably exercised less as I was healing, and now my digestive system was working better and the eliminative system was working better too.
Fantastic. So now that we know the number one trick to staying young, to looking amazing, I want to know more about you. Okay, so you were born in... Were you born in Australia?
Yeah, so we got to really open up here. I was actually
let's open up.
Background because people try and figure out, what is my heritage and all that sort of thing. So on my mum's side, it's Spanish Moroccan. On my dad's side, it's Romanian. I understand you're Romanian as well. Yeah, Romanian and Polish. So it was definitely the mix of, the Mediterranean versus the Eastern European that merged together.
So it's also the gene that keeps you young, because we're okay.
Is it is it genetics or is it epigenetics? Is it lifestyle? So there's always a combination of both. Just like health is not a one size fits all approach or formula, it's really important to acknowledge that it's our lifestyle that really can change the way we age. Having said that, being in America, it's a lot more difficult to be healthy in this country.
Oh God.
Yeah, look, I
agree.
And this is why it's important that I'm here doing the work that I'm doing. I've been involved with the Make America Healthy Again campaign, which is a movement for the people, by the people. It's not necessarily political. People want to complain about politics or any current administration. And it's like, well, you know what? Are you getting in there to do anything about it? Don't complain and get in there. So, yeah, I have been wanting to help out a lot, and I've been doing this my whole life. Basically ever since I knew that I wanted to be an educator and an entrepreneur. So I would, come backwards and forwards on press tours with my books from Australia and go on these television shows, these live TV shows, and start to share the knowledge that I have. And so now, I'm looking at some of the big issues that, the current administration, the Secretary of Health want to look after, and that's the farming, the glyphosate, the big agriculture. And sadly, the way in which the American farms are now, if you just had to take away the glyphosate that the farmers are so used to using, it's like ripping a Band-Aid off way too fast, and you can't sort of go cold turkey on, like I use it as an analogy, like a drug addict. It's like these farmers are addicted to farming this way, and there would be no food supply, sadly. So there's that, and, the water and just the quality of the soil. So the food system isn't as easy to get the type of nutrition. And not only that, the glyphosate is actually destroying the tissue or the lining of the gut. So most people don't realize that they could be eating what they think is healthy food, but the lining of the gut is destroyed from the glyphosate. And so you might have leaky gut syndrome and don't even realize it. So it's like having holes in a balloon, let's say, and all of that nutrition, you just kind of, it's not getting assimilated or absorbed. So you have to constantly work towards healing and sealing the gut so that you can assimilate and use the quality nutrition. Now, that's not the only thing that can destroy the lining of the gut. Most people are over-medicated and they don't understand that after they've had any kind of, drugs or antibiotics or just even like period painkillers or, those sorts of things, they're all drugs.
There's a pill for everything out here, yeah.
Yeah, and they're all destroying the lining or the tissue of the gut. And so that's why when a doctor prescribes the antibiotics after that course, they're always telling you to have the prebiotics, the probiotics, very important to restore the flora and fauna. But we forget about sealing the lining of the gut. And so there's a lot of things that you can do. Like vegans would take a slippery elm. People that aren't vegans usually would take the bone broth, the collagen that comes out of that. That can also help to heal and seal the gut because collagen repairs tissue. And I'm not an expert on peptides and I don't do peptides or I'm not ascribing hormones. And being 53, I've lived naturally thus far without this because, and we can go into that a little bit more, but people are taking BPC 157 to heal and seal the gut. But as you can see, there are ways of not needing to change the signals as well because the nervous system is the master communicator. So that goes back to what we were talking about with chiropractic.
The alignment.
And that communication, giving the body the signals that it needs naturally. We're designed, God gave us everything in our body to be able to function and heal better when we give it the right environment.
And why not? Why don't you do peptides?
Look, it's just not an area of expertise. In Australia, it's still illegal. It's a new thing here in America. I'm not adverse to it. I have taken glutathione, which is a very strong antioxidant. And I love taking, strong antioxidants for aging. It's fantastic. Some of the foods, though, that you can get that from, some of my favorite foods are pomegranates. Okay. And they're fantastic for antioxidants. They also calm the mast cells or the mast cells, Americans say. And the mast cells are the immune cells. And so anyone who may have MCAS or mast cell activation syndrome, and a lot of people in the breast implant illness community do have that. They have MCAS, and so I always say that one of the best foods to help calm that mast cell flare-up is having pomegranates, these rich in antioxidant foods.
You mentioned the breast implant.
Yes,
let's talk. Can we get there?
Let's open up about that.
Do we have the book here?
Yes,
the treasure chest?
The book's called Treasured Chest because we are treasuring our chest. I am holding my heart. I'm showing my scars. I promise you, when I actually went to sleep before I pressed print on that book, it's my 10th book, mind you. So it's my most recent one. Okay. But when I pressed print on that and I went to sleep, I was like, oh no, what have I done? Why did I do this cover showing the world, my chest? But
I think that's beautiful.
Thank you. It was impactful. Like, on purpose, I haven't used the words breast, boobs, tits, jugs. It's the word chest because what's behind the chest is the heart, and it really brings the reader back home to their divine organic state to remember that this is the power of the woman, is that we are the portal. That heart is the thing that can really shift the world. And when women are getting ready to shed and remove that device, which is highly inflammatory, it causes an inflammatory storm like a cytokine storm. It's an inflammatory driver. And there's new data to support that. Professor Deva, who did my surgery in Australia, he actually, after my explant surgery, said, wow, I'm going to have to do some more research about this because 6 surgeons and an MRI all said, you're fine, there's nothing wrong with you.
What do you mean you're fine? Like they couldn't see that it erupted?
That's it. So I had an undetected rupture that nobody picked up. And for 2 years, I was in so much pain. And, let's just address the elephant in the room. Why on earth would a wellness expert do this? It is something that I really had to forgive myself for. We are human is probably the one regret in my life. And I cried rivers when I had to address the root cause of why. Like, why did I do it? It really wasn't just for aesthetic reasons like most people think. What I realized was it was some deep trauma. And that trauma came about because when I was young, I was interfered with. And when I was older as an adult, I realized it was very difficult for me to be in an intimate scenario. And and I think this is what I unpacked with my psychologists, that it made me feel like there was something covering my heart, covering who I truly was, so that I could be more comfortable without getting triggered in that intimate relationship. So when I had to get ready to shed, I was like, I'm bearing my all. I'm opening my heart really now. You can see the true me and all of me in this intimate moment. That was very confronting for me. Now, when readers are into the book, they're writing to me and saying, wow, you're reminding me that I actually had trauma. I actually had these interferences and incidences, if you like, happen to me. Wow. And there's a lot of, I guess, generational trauma in this current climate right now that's coming forward. It's coming into who we are, like, you know, removing the layers and getting back to organic again, getting back to real. And so it's a very brave journey for anyone that has to, suffer with a laundry list of symptoms like hair is falling out, loss of libido, inability to sweat, dry eyes, anxiety, depression, sometimes thoughts of suicide, SIBO gut, small intestinal bowel overgrowth, the digestive system starts to shut down, the natural detoxification pathways start to shut down because the body heals through expelling a toxin or expelling a foreign body through an orifice because it doesn't want the foreign body in the body, but there's nowhere for the implant to go. So this is the new data that I'm telling you Professor Diva did after my surgery. He was like, I need to present that, yes, indeed, implants are an inflammatory driver. They do create a cytokine storm, and it doesn't matter whether there's a rupture there or not. In my case, there was. And when he woke me up from the anesthetic, he was like, wow, you're better than an MRI. You really did have the rupture exactly to where you were pinpointing it to be. So ladies, you don't need your doctors to tell you that, yeah, you know, your feelings are valid. You should actually be very much in control of there's a lot to be said with intuition, women's intuition. And just persist. God. I persisted despite everybody saying you're fine because I knew I wasn't. I knew I wanted to die because I was slowly dying. My son was saying to me, and a lot of people actually hide this kind of information from their children, and there is no judgment there. You do what's right for you. But when I'm explant coaching or wellness coaching women to go through this, you know, they don't always want to tell their kids. But for me, it was important to tell him and help him to understand, Mum made a mistake. I'm human. This is what's going on. And he was like, Mum, you don't want to die. You just need to have them out and not long to go. But the issue is that there's just not enough surgeons that can do the type of surgery called a complete capsulectomy or an en-bloc surgery where they remove the surrounding scar tissue out with the implant. And so a lot of these stories are getting swept under the rug and saying, no, you're fine. You're a hysterical woman, which is what women have been told for centuries, you know, that you're just hormonal, you're menopausal, you're hysterical, you know. Women have been controlled over the centuries, over the years, you know, and so this is just another thing again. But breast implant illness is real, and it's now being acknowledged by the International Society of Aesthetic Plastic Surgeons as well, that it is a thing, it's real. So you know, it's just, there's so much to unpack. And I think I've kind of become the Erin Brockovich of the explant world. And
which is a great cause to
I retain all this information. I'm just relentless in helping others.
What would you tell someone that's considering getting one tomorrow? How would you stop them?
It's really hard because obviously there is an FDA black box warning. So they need to know and understand that that's the first thing. If there's an FDA black box warning on a device or a product, I think that should scream at you. And there's probably a lot of corruption going on in the industry because in Australia there's no TGA black box warning on the devices yet. Why is there one in America and not in Australia? So think about that. And of course, just that beautiful old age saying of, you're beautiful just the way you are. And I mean, if you ask any man, they'll probably say the same thing. So, and then women say, I'm just doing this for myself or whatever. But really, aging is a privilege and we have to get back to that. But, I remember my surgeon saying to me, when I remove this, I'm showing you like the before and after of some of my others that I've done. And this is what it's going to look like. And I was like, if I'm going to look like that, that's fantastic. And he was like, yeah, but there's like no volume here now. And this, and I said, wait, whoa. And I actually educated him as a man. And I said, this natural looking thing is beautiful. This hard looking thing is not beautiful. Like you've got to remember that why do we find this thing attractive when it's not real? And that's the disconnect in our culture that we have become, right?
No, what the heck? Why would I want to put some plastic, like a foreign body, in my body? Why would I want to
Well,
put
it's
all
worse
those
than plastic.
toxins and
And
chemicals?
so, you have the heavy metals, which are a perfect breeding ground for strep A, strep B, E. coli, all the bacteria. It creates a SIBO gut, small intestinal bowel overgrowth. So yes, that's what any kind of, I guess, gel type silicone implant will do. But then the saline implants can also create mold. It's very dangerous.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
But what if a girl doesn't have any breasts at all, poor thing?
Hey, we're all beautiful with whatever God gave us. Seriously. And I always say I've never seen an unattractive person who's smiling. Everyone's beautiful when they smile. Try and prove me wrong. It's just impossible. It's the light that you give to the world that is your beauty. And we are not going to stay the same forever. And that has to be okay. I can tell you right now, if like men had like, I don't know, underwear that showed that, like, they would all shut up. They don't really get an opinion on what we look like. I mean, seriously. Yeah. And on top of that, it's a largely male-dominated industry, this plastic surgeon industry. Imagine a man telling a woman what we should look like and then be subliminally programmed by that without even realizing that it does have an impact on us.
Wow, that is very well said right there. Mic drop on that. Yeah, so I'm trying to see everybody's side. I'm trying to look at
of course,
the girl without any breasts, but then still you're beautiful regardless. Right. If you have a great personality, the right guy is going to see that and he's going to love you for who you are.
Look, you're just focusing on the wrong area, basically.
Yes, exactly.
What have you forgotten that you're offering the world? That's what makes us so attractive. And that comes into relationships too.
Yeah.
So as a dating coach and dating apps expert, I've written 2 books, #InstaLovers, about how we're sliding into DMs, and also the ghosting culture. The book's called Where'd They Go?
Really?
But
I got to check that out too.
Yeah, those are the other ones that I want you to read. But, we are forgetting about what we bring to the table when we're in a relationship. It's become, this loneliness epidemic, and it's very much a case of what can you do for me and how can you fulfill my needs? Or, what work are you doing on yourself? Well, I'm always like, don't worry, I'm evolving. You commit to doing that too, and I'll meet you there if our paths shall cross, right? So we should all just continue to work on ourselves, and energy will vibrate at the same frequency and eventually bring you to where you're at. So you end up falling in love at the level of your self-esteem, really. And take heed on that and really work on yourself. Because really, there isn't anything wrong with being single. I want to actually put that out there right now. A lot of people are being told that there must be something wrong with you and you need to partner up. But we're in a season now where it is okay to be single. We're making our own money, albeit it's much more difficult, and sometimes it is good to have a mortgage buddy. But
that's true.
But it's also... during the time of being single or singledom, there's a lot of people doing deep work on themselves and getting ready for the partner. But then having said that, you're allowed to both be broken and do the work together. I think what's important is the intention toward self-betterment, whether you're in a relationship or out of a relationship. And that the loneliness epidemic now is really stemming from, of course, it's coming from the tech culture, but it's also coming from, it's coming from looking outward instead of inward, right? For our happiness and for meaning in life. And so at the end of the day, what gives us purpose is giving. It's in the giving. And so, you know, service shouldn't be, oh, I have to do an act of service. Remember how when we were brought up in communities or tribes or how we used to live, you know, and this communal living, we were all, let's say somebody got married on the land or let's say, it's not like, oh, that wedding's going to cost so much money. Oh, I'm good at cooking, I'll bring the food. I'm really good at singing, I'll come and sing for the, you know, and everyone would come together to contribute. And so that would be a natural act of service or giving that we are born to do on a daily basis, all day, every day. And those micro moments every day of giving and serving are what provides us with love, agelessness, purpose, health. And we've forgotten to do them. And so now we're looking outward. Well, you know, what's on your dating app profile? What are you going to give me? Where are you going to take me? You know, what's your education and how old are you? And like all of these things, I guess, have subliminally programmed us to look in the wrong areas. But it's really about, you know, are you kind? And how are you going to show up? And how are you going to continue to commit to self-betterment? And how are we going to do that together? Those are the things that are going to help people fall in love moving forward now in this crazy world that we live in.
Yes. My only thing is, if it's, do you mean like it should be a one-way type of relationship? Because if I'm the only one giving with nothing in return, am I not going to get tired of just giving?
Yeah, no. But that's what I'm saying. It actually becomes a mirroring effect.
Oh,
yes.
They will start giving as well.
Yeah, it's just like if I forgive you, then I've forgiven me. Then it's everything. We're mirrors of each other, you see. And those who don't mirror that will fall away. Yeah, and that's okay too.
Exactly. Back to the just to conclude the breast situation, the breast explant. You said you found faith and self-acceptance through that.
Yeah, it didn't happen straight away. I thought, okay, I've done the work. I've shed, I've cried the tears and spoken to all of the psychologists and neurological chiropractors, and I, really released a lot. And I forgave myself, because that's what a lot of people want to work on when they're getting ready to remove. There's a lot of deep shame that they carry for doing that. And so I thought everything was fine until physiologically I still had, brain buzzing and brain fog, and there was a silicon spillage in the left side. So my body was reacting to the cytokine storm, and I didn't feel great. I felt immediately great. I was like, wow, I'm free, because it was moving in my body. It was starting to, bleed, gel bleed. And I really needed it out, but nobody believed me. So now it's out. I had the explant. I have the capsulectomy. And then all of a sudden I'm like, why am I still feeling like this? So I decided to move to the seaside area, and we encountered mold, actually. Now, let's talk a little bit about that, because it's such an invisible, silent killer, really. And that, if you've had breast implant illness, can make the immune system go berserk. A lot of people, though, encounter black mold or any kind of mold, and those mycotoxins, which are microscopic spores, can be breathed in, inhaled, and start to colonize first in the respiratory system. Then it can go to the neurological system, the brain, the optic nerve, and everything. And sometimes it can create things like fungal pneumonia and death.
Oh, God.
So it can colonize and move very fast within the system. And colonization is scary, because it takes a very long time to detox from these microscopic spores that decide to live in you, in the host. It's like an entity taking over. And so I didn't realize this because working as a wellness coach, I'd never experienced it myself in my own health, and I hadn't experienced a client yet who was suffering with mold. But also it wasn't as rife as what it is today. Mold is growing probably 75% faster as a result of the 5G. And that's because mold is radioactive. And because we've ramped up the levels, not only are the building materials different, we're building with like drywall, which is basically mold food because it's like paper, and as soon as that gets damp from the HVACs and all that sort of stuff, forget it. We've got a moldy dwelling that's quite dangerous. And so mold is very rife now, more so than it ever was, because of the radiation levels and because of the building materials. So here I was in this mold scenario. My son and I really suffered. And to open up to you, I actually was homeless for 3 weeks. I lived in my car. I reached out to certain friends after a while, and some of them were actually scared to have me over.
To have you over because?
Yeah, because they were scared that I would bring the moldy clothing and the moldy mycotoxins and the furniture and everything into their house. So I had to really just accept that. And in the end, it was very humbling, because I ended up throwing away everything I owned, almost everything. And I can't compare that to sort of some people who've been through, let's say, the LA fires and any kind of thing that just devastates and ravishes everything they own. But it was close to that, because you just have to part ways with it. Because if it was a soft furnishing, let's say you sit in it and there's mycotoxins in it, they just puff up and they continue to sit around, and as soon as there's damp, it spreads. So it's like you just have to start all over again. And it was so humbling. And I remember being on the bathroom floor next to a window of a dwelling that I'd rented, where I felt like I was getting some fresh air finally. My son was at his friend's, so he was fine. And I'd stopped living in my car for this period of time, thinking, I'll just sleep in this bathroom on this mattress like this thin and I'll work it out. You know, I'll find a dwelling that's not moldy, but it's very difficult to find them these days. And the more you're exposed, the more sensitive you get. But eventually, yeah, I had a girl reach out to me. She's in ministry, and she bought the book Treasured Chest, and she said, I don't need to read it. Well, I just wanted to support the cause, but I've had an explant already, and I can see you're on a mission. I can see your work in what you want to do for the world. And do you mind if I introduce myself, and can I pray for you and pray on you? And I was like, hey, I don't really know what that means. Like, you know, I'm like, sure, go ahead, because I'm on the floor of this bathroom and I'm encountering mold and I'm actually really sick and I don't know what to do. She was like, that's okay. And she brought Jesus into my life. And, you know, I just, from that day, you got goosebumps.
I got goosebumps.
She prayed on me and she called it, as she said, and I didn't understand what this meant, but she said, in Jesus' name, remove the moldy entities. And now I'm getting goosebumps. Remove the moldy entities. You no longer belong. Like, you know, she was like, and I send you back to the pits of hell, she was saying. And I was like, what are these words? And basically my body flared up in goosebumps, and then it wept down with tears. And it was just like this wave of, and then, and I just released all these tears. And I said to her, I'm crying. And she says, it's good, I'm crying too. She goes, I think you've been delivered. To this day, I don't really understand what it meant or what it was. And as I'm saying this, I'm getting goosebumps, because there is no denying. When people speak truth, or when I hear truth or feel truth, my body gets tingles. That's energy.
Yes.
That's you can't deny that. I didn't go, right, let's bring it on for the show. It's happening. It's truth. And I just can't deny it. So from that moment on, she said, if you let God in, you'll see your life will be blessed. And within 6 months, I tell you, my earning capacity quadrupled. It happened so fast. But it really also came with a lot of lessons and blessings with these tests, because I knew I was being tested,
Wow.
right? And when I passed the test and I understood the message, I understood my assignment even more.
Wow.
And that assignment has always been to help others live a greater quality of life naturally, drug-free, where possible. But now it came with more purpose. It came with more fire. I became I was going to say bleep-withable. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, we got some here.
I don't know if we can say that.
We can open up.
Yeah, you just can't bleep with me because I'm like, I know who I'm serving. I know it's not about me. It's about the service for you. I'm here to do that. That's what living's about. That's the meaning of life. Why else am I here? And a lot of people are like, I'm so confused because you dress like you're not this religious person and everything. And I'm like, that's okay. As whatever it takes for you to hear me out and for me to help you, I don't mind. And so, yeah, it's been a huge test and a huge blessing. I finally know my worth.
Right.
Look, at the end of the day, I don't like labels, right?
Interesting.
That's what gives us division in the world, doesn't it? You're black, you're white, you're Jewish, you're Christian. Like, who cares? We're just people. And we're all so different. And that's what's so beautiful about us. And if we're smarter than the powers that be that want us to fight over all of the differences, we'll finally realize, if we're clever, that we have more in common than we don't have in common. That's the beauty, is finding the commonalities and getting excited over that than trying to look for the differences or the labels. And let's just bring the analogy in of medication and labels. You know, you could go to a doctor and you could say, I've got a really sore throat, doctor. And they could say, well, let me check that. And you say, and all the things. And he looks at the inflammation, perhaps, in the tonsils area and diagnoses you with tonsillitis. Now, tonsillitis is a Latin word, itis, meaning inflammation. So you're basically saying you've got inflammation of the tonsils. So therefore, I'm going to give you this, well, let's medicate or let's operate because I've given it a fancy Latin word. But I came in and told you I had a sore throat. You're telling me, yes, you do. Let's give it a fancy name so we can operate and medicate. So let's label it something. And now, have we still addressed the root cause if we remove the tonsils or if we give it a drug to mask the symptom? No. So this is why I say labels in the modern world, if we look at it, sometimes don't help us sometimes. Now, where would we be without modern medicine? You know, it is life-saving. We've got the best we've got the best doctors, drugs, surgeons, hospitals in the world. And they are saving lives when it comes to emergencies. But on a day-to-day basis, we are seeking out drugs and prescriptions way too much and not really addressing the root cause. And I bring it back to that because the more you overwhelm the system, you know, with antibiotics, you're creating superbugs. You know, with any kind of drug, you're destroying the lining of the gut. So now, you know, there's research to show that even 2 courses of antibiotics is now creating a 44% higher increase in the chances of depression. And that's because now you've destroyed the lining of the gut. Now the micronutrition, the vitamins and minerals aren't being absorbed or assimilated the way they're designed to. So you have to remember how to restore balance back to the body after you've used modern medicine. So if we use modern medicine, great. It shouldn't be a daily thing. We should work towards with our doctor, full disclaimer here, work with your doctor with the outcome to be, can we get off medication? If your doctor's saying, no, I want you on this for life, get a second opinion. Or maybe it's true. I don't know. But try to work together with your team to see if you can address root causes.
I love that you're like a politician. You bridged that and just went past the whole thing with Jesus. I
did because it comes down to labels, right?
I know, but if you think about it, yes, although Jesus was born Jewish, he was the first Christian because he fulfilled the old law. So he can no longer be a Jewish person because he no longer believes in all. I mean, he already fulfilled all those other things.
So you're saying I'm Jesus now?
No, I think
Like, because I mean, I'm not
Jesus follower.
Yeah, I am
but
saying
I think Jesus is in you.
yeah.
I think you found him.
I did what he did.
Yeah. I think he chose you for a reason.
I'm still learning a lot, right?
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot to be said for all of us, that we don't always have all the answers, and it's important to be open and keep listening and learning.
Right.
And be patient in that journey too. It's a journey. Sometimes we want to just know it all now. What are you? Who are you? Where are you taking me? What are you doing? What's your qualification? But, we're all just walking each other home, and we're all swimming in the same bowl of soup, and we're all just figuring it out together. But yes, the anchor has been prayer, for sure.
Prayer and fasting. That's what he says to do.
We already fast in moments of grieving, when we're in love and love making, when we have a virus and we don't feel like eating, when babies are teething and they don't feel like eating. We're naturally being given periods of fasting, but those are the best fasting times during the circadian rhythm of from say 6 or 7 or whenever the sun goes down until the sun comes up, and then allowing the body to break that fast, which is why it's called breakfast, gently and things like that. So I think we have to honor that, because a lot of us are eating until the very last minute before we go to bed.
Yes, I'm guilty sometimes.
So just bringing it back to natural and being connected to the lunar cycle is important.
To which cycle?
The lunar cycle.
Okay. The moon?
Yeah, what the moon is doing.
Oh, interesting.
You're releasing the melatonin, which is the sleep hormone, as the sun is setting. That's when we feel that nod off, where we feel like,
I see what you mean. Okay.
Yeah. Then we turn on the electricity and the lights and everything, and then it disrupts that whole circadian rhythm. But if we synchronize our bodies with the lunar cycle, we start to become more hormonally well as well, because of the hormones that are naturally being released, like the melatonin, and then waking up with the cortisol when the sun rises. And a lot of people think that cortisol is bad, and it can be in times of stress, but sometimes there are times when cortisol is good, like when you wake up and it forces you to bound out of bed when the sunlight comes in. But instead, what do people do? Roll over and grab their phone and scroll, and they're not using that cortisol to move their bodies. And then they start getting panic attacks and anxiety.
Yes.
So you've got to be very careful and listen to what the earth is doing and what God designed for us to do.
Oh my goodness. And talking about about you, your relationship, are you single? Are you?
It depends who's asking.
Wow. Okay. I love it. Okay. So what is the dating situation?
I was actually, I'll open up and say I was celibate for 4 years. And I think it's been 4 years.
You're pretty much a virgin again.
I pretty much am. Yeah, I just...
wasn't it a study that said, you're actually after a year of celibacy, you actually...
There's a level of purification that's coming with this. And, spiritually, emotionally, physically, when you intertwine and share bodily fluids with somebody, you're intertwining souls, you're intertwining DNA, you're intertwining those, whatever it is that they have in them, you're mixing it with you and their stories that they carry too,
The
and I'm just
too.
I'm just like, I don't know if I'm ready for all of that. I'm just like, I just feel so pure right now. And I'm just
haven't found the right one that was worth it.
I gave it a red hot go actually recently.
Okay.
It turned out that this man had been married and with someone for 25 years.
Wow.
I think he'd been divorced for a while, and he was ready, he was dating and stuff. But I think he should have read my book about digital dating apps and sliding into DMs, because he got a bit too busy and made a few rookie errors.
What?
Yeah.
Such as?
Well, they just, everyone figured it out in the end. And look, I must say, if you read my book, you got to read my book. This is hilarious.
Which one is it? Do I have it here?
Yeah, I do talk about going on a liking spree, hashtag Insta lovers, digital dating, DM disasters, and love stories.
Tell me about this. I've never been on a dating app.
Well,
so
good for
I
you.
have never been on any dating apps. I don't know what they do. I don't care to know what is going on with that.
Okay, so basically dating apps can take over a person if they're not balanced about it. That's why you need my book. But it can also open you up to a whole new world of people out there. And that's why like newly single people and everything enjoy to try and meet people on dating apps or on Instagram, because it can open you up to a lot more people, especially if you've come out of a relationship and your only circle of friends is the people that you knew with that partner, right? Now you want to meet new people. You don't want to have those friends anymore. So but we start to think, oh, we matched. And the psychology behind that, like, I guess, what do you call it?
Is that AI that says you matched?
It's like AI. It's the technology that shows the beautiful graphics that's designed, and it says you've matched. It makes you feel like you've won something in Vegas, like you've won this, this poker machine or whatever you call it. And it's like, oh, I'm winning. And you accidentally think, oh, I've just visualized our first date. I know what it feels like to kiss them. We're going to get married. I've planned our first holiday.
Oh my.
It's psychology subliminally programming you to have unhealthy behavior about it.
Oh my goodness.
And so in the book, I talk about bringing it right back to a slow dating movement to, have fun connecting with people. Yeah, there's a couple of matches going on there, but I'm also going to go out and I'm going to meet a few people in real life as well. And I'm going to feel good about myself because I'm talking to this person online, but I'm also going to talk to that person and I'm going to keep my funnel full, you see?
Oh, wow.
So you don't go crazy. There's a lot of people who go razor sharp focused on one person they've matched with, or the other person will come back and do what's called love bombing, and they'll start planning their whole lives with that person, and that makes that person they've matched with kind of pull away because it's too much too soon. And usually what happens after love bombing is ghosting because they've talked themselves into it. So yes, the digital dating movement happens really fast, but slow it right down. And then, just make sure that you're not you're protected. You're not jumping into intimate relationships.
You're not actually sleeping with these people. You're just kind of.
And that's kind of, I think,
eating.
where this person that I was seeing kind of got himself into trouble because he was also doing that and everyone thought they were the one or whatever. And lucky for me, I pulled right back on that. And as you know, I was very careful to choose who I wanted to be intimate with. But
he wasn't intimate.
There's no judgment. It was dating with all of the things without that. That home run didn't happen. And I was very intentional about that because there needs to be exclusivity for me for that to happen. So, I'll date around, but I'm not necessarily going to go the home run unless we're talking about that. So I think at the end of the day, great. It's great to use dating apps, to meet a lot of people. Don't get too hung up on the one person. The other thing is it's AI, you said, is making the dating apps turn a little bit different now. We've got the Bumble app now has used AI to do the matching for you. And I think that that's really dangerous because we want everything to be perfect. But relationships are supposed to be messy. And it's in the mishaps that we find out more about ourselves and learn more about the person. It's not supposed to have perfection in how everything happens. And so that's what we've been subliminally programmed with, is that we think, AI can make this more compatible, can match me with someone that's more compatible. Here's the thing. Just because we're compatible doesn't mean there's going to be chemistry. Doesn't mean that we're going to know how to resolve conflict. And also, you're giving up AI personal data, like your sexual preferences. How long is that going to live out there for? And where is that data going? Just really think about what it is that you're sharing with the world.
And to what end? Come on, you can find somebody in a church. You can find somebody at a library. What happened with that?
Well, here's the thing. I do love the idea of more people going to a faith-based place to find someone. I do like the idea of the library. In Copenhagen, they now have human libraries where there are no books and you can book a half hour. No, not Copenhagen, Denmark, but it was not the city of Copenhagen. I can't remember the town, but somewhere in Denmark there is a library where there are no books. You can book a chair for half an hour with a human and listen to each other's stories.
Oh, that's cool. That is really cool.
That's a great way to connect, right?
I don't know if I would call it a library, more like a shrink session.
Well, it's a human library where stories are shared. So the humans are telling their stories and not necessarily in a book. But I know other languages, they call it bibliothèque, and, it's maybe lost in translation.
So what's the most popular dating advice out there that you think actively ruins people's chances?
That everything's going to be perfect. It's just never going to be perfect. Yeah. It's not supposed to be. Yeah.
What
do
makes
you
people
think?
just... I think at first you need to have that friction. You need to be able to, and you need to test each other. I feel like you have to be able to see, firstly, how badly does he want this? How serious is he about this?
And she. Yeah.
And she.
Look, I think everything takes time. Like healing takes time.
Yeah.
So do good relationships. Even the guy that I was dating last time, he said, good things are worth waiting for. So he was in on waiting too.
Interesting.
Yeah. So just time. Just relax, everyone. We're all like in this, with the technology and everything's too fast. We've got to slow it right down.
Yeah. I don't know if I could, if I were single, I don't think I could do the whole dating multiple people at once, though. I think I'm more of a one and give it my all.
Yeah.
Or nothing at all.
There are a lot of people that like to try dating with one person and see how that goes, and can be very healthy because, let's face it, there are STDs that can be shared.
Right. And I can't half-ass it, even if we don't sleep together. Even if we don't have sex, I just don't want to half-ass it. I feel like if my heart is not all in, why am I even wasting my time?
The biggest mistake is you'll be having a conversation with someone and you'll be like, oh, no, I didn't tell you that. I told the other person. Oh, God. That can happen too. I've been in that situation and somebody told me something and they go, yeah, I told you. And I go, no, it must have been your other girlfriend because you certainly didn't tell me that. I would have remembered it.
Oh, man. That's already when I would just stand up and go. I was like, nope, that is not. I'm wasting my time.
But, because people can take their time and women do make their own money and we don't need to shack up, for different reasons, I think we are getting a little bit more picky now because we can. But there is a lot to be said about being in a relationship and how healthy that is to be in a relationship, even if the relationship isn't perfect. Because when you fall asleep together, for example, your heartbeats, body temperature and breathing start to synchronize.
Yeah.
And when those have mutual synchronicity, that's when you fall asleep together, perhaps, in a spooning position or whatever. Same thing with a mother and a child. And it's very healthy. You need a certain amount of hugs per day to release that oxytocin, and that's very healthy. So, there's a lot of things to be said about being in a healthy relationship that's great for longevity. But being in an unhealthy relationship can absolutely dysregulate the nervous system as well.
That's true. That is so true. So be honest. Do the apps want people to find love or do they want them to keep swiping? And if it's the second one, what are you really coaching against?
What was the first one? Why are they swiping?
Do they want you to find love or do they just want you to keep swiping?
All right, so this is my favorite topic because when I started researching the book, #InstaLovers, I went undercover for 4 years and told people that I was actually, it wasn't really undercover because I was honest with them and I said, I'm an author, I'm writing a book, I'm just researching. And they would always say, this is fantastic. Can we
Carrie
go
Bradshaw.
on a date? Yeah, a little bit like Sex in the City with Carrie Bradshaw, but they would always say, can we go on a date so I can be in a book? And I was like, honey, you already are. I've been screenshotting our conversation and I plan to put cowboy emojis over your face. We're putting this in the book. And some of those conversations really are in the book. So, and some of them I did date and they became my friends. But, and then afterwards they were like, wow, you really wrote the book? Can we meet up? And I met up with someone as well. He was fantastic. He was such a good sport. He was like one of my best and dearest friends. But, this art imitates life, life imitates art was a fantastic journey. I was literally in it. And everybody at the time, like when Tinder first came out, really it was a culture of hookups. But deep down inside, when I spoke to them, I think about 80% of people were truly lost and looking for love. And I think now they're finally admitting it. They're finally committing to doing the deep work. because of the loneliness epidemic, they realize they're going to land up with no one unless they actually start working on themselves and looking a little bit deeper. They will end up alone forever.
Dang. So you think it's just because they don't know what they want?
It's a little bit of thinking that the world's going to be perfect. You know, with the AI and the perfection and the way we look, and do you look like your
all
app,
the
and
filters
and and that, you know, we see other people displaying the perfect world, or if it's not you, then there's going to be someone else because the grass is greener, because there's a plethora around. But just because there's a plethora around doesn't mean it's going to work out, and they're going to live in another city. Or do they come with, you know, true qualities, or is it just what they're wanting the world to see about them? Is it the projection of who you think they are, or is it who they are, you know? And so that whole grass is greener attitude. But at the end of the day, we also know a little bit too much about the person, or you think you know too much about the person. So what happens is when we're doing our research on that person before we meet up with them, like the guy that I was seeing, he was like, yeah, I Googled you. And I said, why did you do that? You know what I mean? It was like, oh, just so I could research you so that I could, you know, get to know what to ask you. But that's not the fun. So he either was lying because he wanted to do a background check, which is totally fine, or he really did want to make it too perfect and he wanted to research. But you're supposed to have those goofy moments. You're supposed to like not know and figure it out together. And so learning a little bit too much about someone can kind of ruin the direction of the fun of dating and relationships.
Or even revealing too many personal details.
Oversharing is a trauma response, 100%. Those who are giving away everything too soon, or they're like already planning their whole lives with you and telling you about it, or you find yourself in a situation where you're telling them about your ex or just about anything, you're oversharing and you're not just being in the moment. It's usually some trauma that you need to go back and heal, you know? But that's why I say that's beautiful. That's that intention of the mishaps and the honesty and that raw vulnerability sometimes. That can bring people together too. But it just shouldn't happen in the first few dates. If you're in that situation and you're trauma dumping, and I've had that too, it's like, don't do that with me. You're not ready to date. I just want to be in this and have fun. The beginning of a relationship is supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
So love when you're ready, not when you're lonely or not when you're lost.
Ooh, like that. Would you pick a guy that just doesn't speak at all, wants to be the mysterious guy, doesn't share anything, so you don't really know what he thinks, you don't really know anything about him? Or would you go with a guy that is an open book and shares everything right away and just opens his heart and tells you all these, just everything?
Or go for an AI robot who's going to agree everything. No, look, I honestly think that there are different people that like different things. And in my experience with coaching people, some people who don't know everything. I had an experience too. I was with a Swedish guy. My last relationship was with a Swedish guy 10 years ago. His English was terrible. And we got along so well. We were so compatible on every level because he didn't say too much, but he said what was important when he needed to say it. And it was perfect. And it was like just easy. And there was a lot of chemistry. So chemistry can occur when there is the mystery, when not everything has to be shared. Because whilst intimacy can come through with vulnerability and sharing deep moments, there needs to be that delicate dance where sometimes you don't need to share that with your partner. You can share that with a therapist or your best girlfriend or your coach, or, you know. So there needs to be a little bit of space for desire to grow.
Oh, wow. How do you know when someone is into you versus you're just kind of on the back burner?
When I'm coaching people, I'm always like, look at their actions. It's what they're doing, not what they're saying, obviously. But also they could be doing really embarrassing things too, and that could be endearing. And that's probably because they're nervous. So I always say to people when I'm coaching them and they go, oh, they did this ick, or she's doing this ick or whatever. And I'm like, is it really them, or are they just really nervous? You know, not everybody is a comedic writer, or so sometimes you got to give it a little bit of chance, if that makes sense.
Okay. For me is just to give an example, because I'd like to hear your example. If it's always been, if we're having dinner and we're on a date and you're on your phone, obviously texting another woman,
Yeah.
that is definitely a no-go.
Phones down.
That's it.
In bags.
You're on your phone,
Yeah.
and that is your priority over me. We're done.
Unless they have young children and the babysitter might need something, that's where I would make an exception for phone behavior. Or you just might need to rain check the date so that you can be present. Yeah.
What about you?
A date is a date. Yeah. The only time I got the phone out was when, like, towards the end of the date and he was telling the story and he wanted to show me his photos of when he was in Australia this one time, or, he, wanted to share something. And that's when I said, he was sitting across the table and I said, come and sit next to me and show me. Mm-hmm. That was a moment of heightened intimacy where we took it to, like, physical touch, which kind of got hot because we're looking at the phone, but we're looking at it together and we're having a moment. So, yeah, you can make exceptions to rules about phones.
That, as long as we're looking together, yeah. What is your example of that?
Oh, look, I've seen it in coaching time and time again. And I always say, if you think somebody is kind of, not present and they're just not into you, if it looks like it and is it, it's probably it. You want to be with someone that refuses to look at their phone. I loved it when I was in a relationship or dating someone and I just never wanted to be on my phone. I was so present with them, it made me not want to be engrossed in my work. That's when you're really into someone. You don't even have to tell them, it's just naturally happening. You had a digital detox and you didn't even realize it.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely, that's proof, it's, this person is my priority. And not only is my priority, but I respect myself enough to have taken the time to be present because I chose to be here, doing this with this person.
But that's when different dates need to happen as well. So not always going to dinner and going to coffees and sitting at tables opposite each other. I think it's really important to do hiking or, a sport activity, whether it's paddle or whatever you want to do, yoga classes, get into something together where it doesn't require a phone, and activity can really bond you on a different level too.
Yeah, that is so true. And I would like to ask you about the industry, because you're the expert in the wellness industry. The wellness industry is full of people selling confidence they don't have.
I'm laughing because it's the biohacking industry going crazy and selling gadgets and things too. But yeah,
it's like a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this industry is just, they're selling a lot of confidence that they don't have. You see a lot of people like, I'm this. How do you know you're different?
So you feel like coaching and coaches, whether they're fitness coaches, they're selling you confidence. Mm-hmm. I actually believe that confidence comes from a body that's well and a body that's strong and a body that's grounded and connected. And those are the things I teach. And confidence happens as a byproduct of that. And that's when you exude that energy of like emphaticism and certainty. And that's the confidence. Then the posture changes as well. Or I often recommend chiropractic care and postural correction as you're going through the coaching so that you gain, when you're training, you're evenly working your muscles, your digestion's changing, your sleep's better, all of those things are happening. And so, having confidence is attractive, but it needs to be the byproduct of all of the things that you're already doing.
Yeah, you have to have the proof.
Yeah. The proof comes from things like re-x-rays, using objective measures of care when you do go and see a chiropractor. You can do a posture test, you can do a re-EMG scan, but you want to actually make sure that you're changing functionally and structurally and not just gauging how things are going emotionally, because you don't know if you've improved just because the sun's shining or, that you now are in love and having more intimacy.
That could change, yeah.
But having said that, that actually can change your health too.
Your health, yeah.
So this is why I find it very interesting with the work that I'm doing, is that the dating world and the relationships really do have a spillover effect into the health and wellness, and vice versa. So that's why people are like, why are you doing both? It's like, because they really
go hand in hand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's the quality of your relationship is dependent on the quality of the life that you're living, and vice versa.
Exactly. You can't have one without the other.
You can go through hard times together with a partner, but that's just a phase of life. You know, if you're committed to growth and committed to evolving, you'll be strong.
You read my mind. That's perfect. Exactly. Oh my gosh. And what about the loneliness? You said the epidemic of loneliness.
Well, particularly with teenagers, you know, I find children who are given iPads and technology from a very young age, it can be very damaging to their neurological systems. The human brain's in 3 parts, the mammalian, reptilian, and rational parts of the brain. They're not fully integrated and becoming one brain until about the age of 5 or 7. So children until about the age of 5 or 7 are actually acting in a primal state. And now you're programming with very fast imagery, their posture's changing and it's forming forward. Then they're becoming young humans and young adults and teenagers who actually don't know how to communicate to humans properly, because when parents are holding their babies, wearing their babies, and attachment parenting styles, they're usually, the babies are seeing the world at the eye level, at the same level that the parent is seeing. Mm-hmm. And so that healthy attachment means that the babies get to engage with other humans the way the parent is too. They're having a bond here, they're having a bond there, and they're behaving in a way that gives them emotional stability, emotional security. They're having an emotional refuel with the parent who is shaping the way their neurological system is being wired. And so the difference between parenting with technology from a young age and leaving that kid to babysit, even if it's just, it's only 2 hours a day, it's really changing the way our relationships and communication styles are happening. And so, that's contributing to the loneliness epidemic for sure. A lot of teenagers don't know how to start up a conversation in like a social setting. It's quite scary. And then adults are just losing confidence too, because they're relying on AI to do their writing and their thinking for them. Mm-hmm. But it's not supposed to be perfect. Yeah.
Would you, I know you're into natural parenting, and you raised your son a very specific way around medication. And would you make the same choices if he'd gotten seriously ill?
My son hasn't had a pharmaceutical product ever
in
his life. There have been no pharmaceutical products in his system, and he's now 16. He has been full-term breastfed, and there is a lot of research about not just the colostrum, but about the antibodies and immune cells that happen with full-term breastfeeding. You know, even the World Health Organization states that children should be breastfed from 2 years and now beyond. They're saying they're using that terminology, whatever that means. But what's happening is the mother is making it. If the supply is there, the demand is there. But, this is a delicate subject because not all women end up being able to breastfeed, and everyone has a unique journey and a unique family dynamic. And so that's important. It's just that there isn't always the right support out there. Lactation consultants are usually only trained for up to sort of 3 days in the time that you're spent in the hospital. But there are other private lactation consultants that perhaps you can go to that can get lactating happen even after 6 weeks, because it's a spiritual thing. But being able to breastfeed for that long really sets up the immune system for life. Something else that can set up the immune system for life is what's called lotus birthing, where you actually do not cut the cord. You birth out the placenta, you wrap it in a muslin cloth, and then you allow the nutrition and the pulse, the cord blood to continue pulsing through and connecting the mother and bub. And she, yes, of course, has to carry that around with her. But that's when the village comes in to do the chores, to do the cooking, and letting the mum and bub bond. They need to get to know each other, learn their cues, their signs, their signals, work out that very specific supply-demand ratio, as the milk has an oversupply in the beginning and they're figuring it out like any relationship. Then eventually the cord stops pulsing and then that cord falls away. And that's called a lotus birth. I never did that, but that would be amazing for how we're supposed to age, our immunity, and our health. And so my son had at least the full-term breastfeeding. He also had very good nutrition. He never had sugar. He only had a cake when he was like 2. He had his first taste of cake and sugar at the age of 2. And then he didn't have junk food ever until he was 5. And I remember him saying, I really want to have the junk food at this party, but he didn't even recognize it as food, because if you think about it, they look like toys. If you just keep saying to your kid, oh, that's a toy, that's not food, because it's not, it's a chemical.
True.
It's not really nutrition. It's been stripped of its micronutrition and it's not food anymore. So, yeah, and he felt really sick that day. He was like, Mom, I never want to do this again. I believe you now. And I'm like, that's okay. He felt really sick because the microbiome was disrupted. So introducing those things, you know, grandparents love to do it and spoil the kids and everything, but introducing that really does disrupt the microbiome. But also my child has had chiropractic checkups since birth, and that can really help the immune system of the adult, because if the twig is bent, so the tree grows. And so even just the birthing process itself, even if it's a vaginal birth, you think you've got, you know, some twisting and turning of the head, but then there's like forceps, suction, or sometimes, like in my case, he went back in because my waters didn't break, and then he kind of had his head twisted like that. So, you know, he ended up with his first sort of spinal misalignment or vertebral subluxation right from the birthing process itself. But getting a baby checked, again, is just like checking the ripeness of a tomato. It's so gentle, specific, scientific, and the location and correction of it is so effective and specific. It's not a random movement of joints at all. And so allowing him to have that correct posture and alignment can set up his life for good. And so we're really, God's given us everything that we need to be well. There's a natural alternative for everything. Now, don't get me wrong, if we needed something and it was an emergency and it was life-saving, we would do that. But then I'd always get him back to balance and repair that gut health and that nervous system health again after putting in any kind of chemicals. I've experienced that with myself where I've had to have the anesthetic. You know, your body's got to get back to balance after a surgery.
It's true. Do you think parents who reach for surgeries or antibiotics are failing their kids?
You can't say that to any parent who feels like they're doing the best thing for their child based on the knowledge they have with the people that they've chosen. But it is really important to let parents know that there are natural alternatives to everything. And these days there are integrative medical doctors as well that know medicine but also know the natural approach as well. So if the natural approach doesn't work, then of course we can go to that. You can always do the invasive thing after the natural thing doesn't work. Sometimes you don't always have time, and that's up to you and your health provider to decide. But we do rush. And the reason we rush to pharmaceuticals is because they have $1 billion a day selling us their products in drug ads on television.
I know.
And so you're being brainwashed to think that that headache tablet is going to go straight to the area of the headache. It doesn't. It goes to the gut. The gut has to process it. It goes throughout the entire system. And yes, it will numb the headache, but it's also destroying the lining of the gut, changing the flora and the fauna, changing the nervous system. And you just got to get back to balance. Yeah. But like for something like that, as an example, and again, full disclaimer, I'm not a doctor and I'm not giving you medical advice. You really do need to work with your doctor. But there are so many other things that can help headaches, for example. And the amount of times I hear people say to me, oh, but I'm just having a normal headache. And I'm like, what's a normal headache? And they're like, just the once a week headache. I'm like, you do realize that's not normal. Have you ever had chiropractic care? How much water are you drinking? How much technology are you using?
Yep.
You know, what is on your television screen? Are you watching news all the time? I don't have a TV. I might get one soon, but I don't even have a TV.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I believe you don't have a laptop either, do you? Because
So embarrassing, but yeah.
shockingly, you wrote can I share this?
Yeah, go ahead.
She wrote 10 books on her phone
And an iPad.
in the notes.
Yes.
So if you guys have a laptop, you have no excuse. She wrote 10 books, and they're the real deal type books. We're not talking
Researched and referenced.
Exactly.
And edited and copy edited and formatted, because then I send it off to other people to do that. But the creative part of me doesn't want to be stuck behind a desk. So what I do is I walk and talk, and I do Siri voice to text sometimes. Because when you're walking, when you're moving your body, because movement runs the brain, that's when the creative juices sometimes really flow. And then I'll transcribe, it's transcribed from Siri voice to text, but then I'll edit what's been transcribed, and I'll probably do that on my phone or send it off to someone to help me really kind of
put it all in. Do the layout, which is impressive because you obviously are taking the time. We have Oxford commas in here in this day and age. So, which is amazing. I'm a huge grammar freak. So that is...
Me too. That's one of my red flags. I think I can't be with a guy that doesn't know the difference between there and your. I just can't.
Huge pet peeve for that.
I really try.
Or B and then number 4. No, this is not bingo.
When he texts before, it's not bingo.
What are we doing here? If you can't even put a little effort and show some respect, get out of my face and out of my... No.
I was going to say it's okay if it's not their first language and they're getting the grammar wrong.
B and number 4? Come on.
That's a different story, right? How old are we?
Exactly. No. Should we play a game to wrap it up?
Yeah. Let's have some fun.
Yes. Date me or pass. Do you want to do that? Or the ick list?
Okay.
We have options.
Let's do a couple from each.
All right. Date me or pass.
Okay.
So, round 1. The guy who only talks about crypto, every conversation finds its way back to the blockchain.
Date me. Teach me how to make money.
Okay. The woman 3 years into healing, she'll tell you which attachment style you are by dessert.
I think we'll pass on her.
The guy who's between things right now has been between things for 4 years.
I always say if they're newly single, give them 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah, because otherwise they're just going to end up breaking your heart. They're not ready.
4 years? Come on. 4 years?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. The guy who orders for you without asking.
Oh, date me. Yeah.
You like a guy that does that?
Yeah, but because usually he will probably do some background on me to know what... And even if I'm actually, I don't want that, at least he tried to take the lead. Yeah.
I like that. So I had a guest on my podcast. His name is Robert Richard. He is an actor from Coach Carter.
Yeah.
Handsome, light-skinned guy black guy with the light eyes.
Yes.
He said that he would order for her without asking. And so we got all these women
saying that they didn't like it.
The comments, they didn't like it.
And are those women single or married or dating?
Oh, I don't know. I
That's
believe
where we really need to do the research, because sometimes it's nice when a woman leans back and lets the man take the lead, because if he's in trouble for every single thing he tries to do for her, he will feel like he can never please her. And a man feels very connected to a woman when he starts to protect, provide, and do all the things like open the car door. Sometimes he really enjoys those things.
I love that. I love a man that opens the car door.
And if you're always berating him and going, stop doing everything for me, he's like, how can I make you happy then, So I just think you've got to let little things like that go. So let him order and then go, actually, thank you for choosing that for me, but I might have something else. But do you know what I mean? You still want to date that guy. You're not going to pass on him just because he ordered for you. Come on.
He tried.
Give him a go.
That's true. The guy who tracks his macros at dinner and offers to track yours.
We need to pass on him. I think a healthy body looks different on every person. You can be fit and lean, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're well.
Yeah, it's so true. The woman who claims to be natural but has Botox and lip fillers.
And she's everywhere. Come on. We're going to have to date her at some point because otherwise you're just going to be single. They're everywhere.
They're a dime a dozen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But eventually, with the work that I'm doing, hopefully we'll get these women knowing that it's such a privilege to age.
Wow. The serial entrepreneur, 6 businesses, 0 of them profitable, all of them about to pop.
Help him hone in on one or pass. Yeah.
The guy who says he's emotionally available now being the operative word.
Well, he may have found the right one. So date.
Okay.
It could be funny. It's all in the delivery. That could be a really funny line if he, presents
Now.
that to you. I'm ready to date now. Like it could be really honest and funny because sometimes they're not ready to date until they find the one. Then they went, you know what? You're everything I'm looking for. I think I want to commit to this. And he's kind of letting you know where his head's at. Yeah.
I like that. You're very you're giving everybody a chance here.
If we don't, we're all going to end up single forever. Listen, you said date. You didn't say marry.
True. Oh gosh, the guy who's recently single after 15 years of marriage, sweet, lost, learning to date again.
Yeah. And you're the first date with him. Oh boy. Pass.
Dang, you're going to give the other guy a chance and not this one?
Give him a few more dates, then I'll date him.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be really awkward.
Wow.
Yeah, a bit too awkward.
What makes it awkward?
He's still figuring himself out. He's probably comparing you to his ex with everything that happens. Until he's actually started dating others and experiencing that, it's very hard to reprogram that nervous system. You accidentally go, oh, that's when my ex did this. And like they're still thinking about them. They don't realize it. But as soon as they start bringing in new varieties, new people, then they start forgetting about what it was like, And then they're ready. They're actually very focused on you after they've been through a few other dates. But otherwise, they're not focused on you. They're comparing it to their ex.
The woman who's wildly exciting, terrible for you, and you already know how it ends.
Yeah, if you want to get hurt and you know how it ends, go for it. You're a sucker for punishment. But then be aware of that pattern and see if you want a pattern break. Yeah. I think it keeps happening until the lesson we're supposed to learn happens.
Yeah. And the successful woman who intimidates every man she meets and is tired of pretending she doesn't.
What about her?
Would you, if you were a man, would you date her?
Oh, yeah. Men love that, I think.
Really?
Yeah. Because then I think men love successful women, but then they also love it when they go, okay, you don't need to work now, depending on what phase they're at in life. And then, if she wants to give him a child or he just wants to take care of her or they both just have their separate lives being successful together, that can really work. Yeah.
Okay. And the ick list game, and we'll wrap it up with this one. He runs to catch a bus.
Oh, that's great. That's not ick.
He goes on a bus. He doesn't have a car.
No, but he's running to he's running. He's fit.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I'm seeing how fit he is.
I love that you see the glass half full.
And he
wants
wants
to
fit. Yeah, and he wants to be on time.
Okay.
That's hot.
What's wrong? What? That's amazing. So this thing about you, it's amazing.
It's
the fact
perception.
Exactly. You weren't focused on the fact that he's lacking a car. You were focused on the fact that he can run. He has legs. He can run. He's athletic, and he is running, which means he's trying to be on time.
Yes.
Why the heck are you single, girl? Because you.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe not after today. I'll have my messages flooding. Who knows?
Oh my goodness.
Look. Also, I just came back from Spain, Palma de Mallorca. Everybody catches buses, and it's normal there. Not in every town is it not okay to catch a bus. Sometimes a bus is a great form of public transport. Catch a train, catch an Uber, run, get there, get it on.
Yes, he chews loudly enough that you can hear it over the TV.
Pass, that's such an ick.
He does a tiny umbrella He uses a tiny umbrella in the rain.
How tiny? Are we talking about the cocktail umbrellas? No, I like it. It's good.
It's good?
Yeah.
He waves back at someone who was waving at the person behind him.
It's cute. I like it. It's endearing.
He says anyways a lot.
He's buying time. It's okay. It's not. It's neither. I can't. Yeah.
You know? He digs in his nose a lot.
Ick. Straight away.
He calls his friends the boys.
That's all right. Aussies do that.
Yeah?
Yeah, the boys.
He is always late.
Ick. Definitely.
He doesn't open any doors.
Ick.
Very much ick. He's rude to the waiter, then
Ick.
charming.
Sorry. Ick.
He still has framed photos of his ex.
Ick.
He says, I don't really read like it's a personality.
No, give it a chance.
He cries at the movie openly in the theater.
That's cute. I like it.
Okay. He texts his mom every day.
Every
Day.
every day.
Every day. He texts his mom
You don't
and
want to
brings her flowers.
No, it's nice. It's really nice because he respects women.
Every day.
Oh, come on. You're thinking about someone in particular, aren't you?
Maybe.
Yeah, we need more information on whether we think that's an ick or not.
Yeah. And he's genuinely, unironically enthusiastic about something nerdy.
That's good. Yeah, nerds are good.
Oh, fantastic. And before we go, would you mind, because we started last episode, writing down a question for my next guest.
Okay.
And then I'm going to give you Manny's question, which was my previous guest.
Oh, wow.
He is running for Nevada, Clark County Commission Division E. So he's a politician who wrote the question, and I'm going to give you his question.
Well, I'll have to answer it like a politician then.
Yes. All right. So if you don't mind reading Manny Cass's question for me.
Manny, thank you so much for this question. Who is your biggest influence and how has that person changed your life? Manny Cass from season 2, episode 35. How has that person changed my life? The biggest influence immediately came to me was just my son. Like,
He's amazing.
how could I not mention him? How he has changed my life is that he makes me really think, and Manny's going to love this, really think about the problems of the world and how we should all fix it instead of just complaining about it. Because my son is and ever since he was 6 years old, very much into peacekeeping and politics and geopolitics. And, you know, he's got these purest ideas, as children should, on how we can all come together and be kinder to each other and have world peace, you know. And that's how we're all born until we get programmed. We all love each other. We don't know that we're different, you know, and we look for those things to love. So I think that he kind of reflects who I am because we're mirrors of each other. But then there's also a little bit of him that's just obsessed with geopolitics and history.
Wow.
And he just continues to educate me about why who we all are today has been as a result of how history has shaped us. And, you know, are we learning from those mistakes and can we draw analogies from what's happened and is this happening again now? Those are the sorts of things. So I guess how he's shaped me is I continue to learn how to pattern break and then heal generational trauma because we're going to heal our own trauma, but that trauma's come from the generation before, and that's because hurt people hurt people. And so I've really had to do some deep work so that he can see that pattern break, and when and if he has children or the world that he continues to inspire, that'll be a whole different world. You know what I'm saying? And we have to invest in youth.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love it. I don't know how you raised your son, but he is so wise and he is impressive. I met him last night and I'm just blown away with just so much wisdom and he's so mature.
So everybody says this, and that's the result of a young teenager or an adult or a human that's been attachment parented. Because when you don't leave your child to cry themselves to sleep and you are doing practices like wearing them or full-term breastfeeding and all those attachments. The research shows that instead of them being needy and attached, they're actually very secure, and they're the opposite. They're emotionally secure. Their wiring of the neurological system is fully developed, and they are not going to be the bullies in the schoolyard. They'll be the first to run to the child that's hurt themselves or is hurting. They have huge levels of emotional intelligence, and that's how we all are. But we're in this Western world where we've been raised to just leave your kid to cry themselves to sleep because they think you've been teaching them through experts, the wrong experts, let's say, that the children should self-settle. And so that's a whole nother topic. I actually appeared on 60 Minutes with this topic.
Oh, really? You did?
But yeah, I think we're all raised to be geniuses. And again, the chiropractic helps as well, so where are we not being 100% of who we're already designed to be? It's interesting that Manny had this question because my son really wants to get into politics as well.
It's very interesting.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you guys will eventually move to Vegas.
You never know.
And then we'll introduce your
I think
son
you want to be in
Manny.
politics too, don't you?
Eventually.
It's good that you've got friends like Manny around. I mean,
hope he
everyone
wins.
should want to be involved in politics. Yeah. And it shouldn't be a blue or a red thing. It should be like, let's just figure it out ourselves, guys.
Yeah,
we need yellow too. Blue, red, and yellow make the rainbow.
Exactly. And we're all pretty much somewhere in the middle. Like, come on, very few are the extremes. The very, like
anything extreme
right.
isn't good.
It's not.
No.
You're not really.
But let's all just get involved
considering.
instead of complaining.
Yeah.
What can you do? What's your part to help? So now I'm going to write a question, right, for the next guest. And I don't know who the guest is.
Nope.
And Manny didn't know that I was going to be next.
No.
All right.
No.
And I'm going to tell you what my question is.
If you'd like. Yeah.
Okay. I'm thinking.
I thought I had a couple, but the couple rescheduled. So.
Oh, that's interesting. Because I was going to do something like, how can you make your relationship with yourself better?
Ooh.
Do you like that one?
I love that.
Okay. How? And it could be a couple or not. Can you, because it has to be with themselves, make your relationship with yourself? And if I had to ask you that question, how would you answer it?
How can I make my relationship? Forgiveness is number one.
Really? Mm-hmm. Forgive yourself for what?
For forgiving myself, for not forgiving others. Forgiving others would be secondary.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you need to forgive yourself for? Can I ask? Can you open up on that?
Yeah, I guess I could. I haven't, for many years, I couldn't forgive my dad. He was an aggressive man, and I just couldn't forgive him for many years. And I think I wasted those years.
So you're forgiving yourself for not doing it sooner?
You have to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that feels freeing, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, once you realize it's not worth it. Because if you hate your parents, you hate
yourself.
A part of you.
I know, it's your DNA.
That is
I know.
the root of who you are.
Uh-huh.
You really you lack compassion. You haven't really, you haven't put yourself in their shoes. You didn't,
It's hard, isn't it?
Yeah. And then you invite judgment into your life. Somebody else is going to, you eventually going to have children that are going to judge you, because that's just how it works.
Well, the more we can create inner peace, the better off we all are.
That is so true. I love that question you put on there.
Well, it gives them something to open up and think about, right?
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah.
I'll put down that I'm a wellness expert and author so that they know the intention behind that question.
Yes. Thank you.
There you
so
go.
much.
Thank you.
Is there anything you wish I had asked that I have not?
No, I think your show is amazing.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank you.
and I'm so
Yours
grateful.
too.
I feel like we just went right into it, and I didn't get a chance to say I'm so grateful. So thank you so much.
Thank you. And your show is amazing. Well-to-do, which could you briefly explain what well-to-do means? Because it's not just, a lot of Americans don't understand this. This is what is a British Australian expression,
Yeah,
right?
so if we say somebody's well-to-do, it means they're well off. So if you're in the UK or Australia, you go, oh, he's well-to-do. You know, it means he's very rich. He's well off. And so I guess it's a pun because it's about having abundance in longevity and life and love. And so when you realize, you know, health is wealth and the quality of your relationships, you're very well off. You're very well to do when you work on those things, because you don't have to be rich with just money. It can be gone in one day with crypto or a house fire or whatever. But how well to do are you?
Oh, I love it. And the fact that you used an authentic Australian expression to really just say, you know, I am from where I am. I am from Australia. I use, you know, my lingo.
Yeah. It was funny because I started the podcast in Australia. Now I'm in America, and I'm like, do people actually understand what the show means? And then it's even funnier when I start my show and I'm like, hi, it's Andi Lew, and you're listening to Well To Do. And I'm like, damn it,
rhymes too. I love it. I actually love that.
Do
and I
you?
love your branding too.
Okay.
So I think yeah.
Well, I
It's
hope
amazing.
everyone enjoyed this show, and then maybe they want to tune into my show because I'm going to have you on as well.
Thank you so much for coming, my dear.
Thank you.